Hey guys, Telegram Sam here. If you don't already know, I have an Instagram. It's telegram_Sam_vinyl. So if you're on Instagram, check me out on there. But this week's video is just going to be a recent vinyl pickups, records that I got in the last 2 weeks. To start off with, I got an amazing VCLT package from a viewer of mine named Vic. We did a record swap about 4 or 5 months ago, and he decided to send me another package, and we're going to do another record swap. So this is what he sent me. To start off with, we got this really awesome Queen 7-inch. The A side is Bohemian Rhapsody, and the B side is I'm in Love with My Car. I've actually never listened to that song until I got this 7-inch. And I guess Roger Taylor sings on this one. I don't have too many 7-inches. The only ones I have are like a couple of Beatles ones and like a Buddy Holly one. But yeah, I kind of want to get more into 7-inches, especially like punk 7-inches, because a lot of original punk music was on 7-inches. But yeah, it's really cool. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody is just such a classic, important song, so it's cool to have that. This is so funny because I actually recently just watched a documentary about this artist, and it's like Vic was like reading my mind. But this is Linda Ronstadt's Greatest Hits. Yeah, I saw the documentary they did a couple of years ago about her. Of course, I know who Linda Ronstadt is, but I don't know. I just never really listened to her. I was like, God, I really need to get some of her records. But this is a 1976 U.S. press. You know, she's kind of pop, rock, folk, country. She mainly did a lot of cover songs. Obviously, a lot of these are cover songs. She does Desperado, The Eagles, Love is a Rose by Neil Young, That'll Be the Day, Buddy Holly, Different Drum, the Monkees song, When Will I Be Loved, the Everly Brothers song. I mean, just a lot of her classic songs are on here, and she was just such an amazing singer and just such an icon, so it's really cool to have that. And this one just came on Black Vinyl, Asylum Records. And then next up, Vic knows how much I love Susie Quatro. In the last video, or the last package he sent me Susie Quatro's Quatro. Love this album so much. So he sent me the Susie Quatro story, 12 Golden Hits. This is just a comp album of some of her earlier singles. This originally came out in 1975. This is a German press. Susie Quatro was such an innovative woman in rock. She was like a pioneer of the whole glam rock scene in the U.S. in the early 70s. And this one has my favorite song, The Wild One, the hard rock version. This has the Wild One on it, but it's the weird slow version that I am not a fan of, but the hard rock version is on this, so I'm really excited about that. It also has Can the Can, Glycerine Queen, Devil Gate Drive. I bit off more than I could chew. I mean, I just love Susie Quatro so much. She's such a badass. She was a huge influence to the like Joan Jett. Joan Jett pretty much styled her entire style and music from Susie Quatro, so love her so much. And this one just came on Black Vinyl on this rack label. Then next up, I know this is one of Vic's favorite bands. This is Headquarters by the Monkees. This is an original 1967 U.S. press. This is rock, pop, folk, and like a little tinge of psych. This was their third studio album, and this was their first album where they were actually able to play the music on here and actually write some of the songs. Because the Monkees were originally sort of, the label's sort of answer to the Beatles, but the American version, and a lot of the songs that they did were just written for them and played for them, and they just sang on them. Well, this was them kind of getting more creative control over what they were doing, so this is really cool. Really excited to have this. And this one just came on black vinyl on the red Coal Gems label. And then next up we have Lady of Soul by Aretha Franklin. I mean, you can't have too much Aretha Franklin. I mean, I only have 2 albums from her, Amazing Grace and I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. So I have a lot of work to do. I would love to eventually have all of Aretha's discography. But this is just such a classic album. This has a lot of her great hits on it. Chain of Fools, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, Since You've Been Gone, Ain't No Way. But yeah, this is original 1968 U.S. press. I mean, Aretha's the queen of soul, funk, R&B. This was her 12th studio album. And yeah, Eric Clapton is actually credited with playing guitar on Good to Me As I Am to You, so that's pretty cool. And this one just came on the old school green and blue Atlantic label. And I actually don't know about this band, but this is between 10th and 11th, and Isolation 12 to 91 from the Charlatans. So the first record in here is the album between 10th and 11th, and the second album is a live album from the early 90s. But yeah, Vic said this was really good. He think I would really enjoy it since I'm into that whole indie rock kind of early 90s thing. But yeah, originally came out in 1982. This is a 2020 UK press, and I would describe this as rock, indie, electronic. I listened to a couple songs that are on here. It has, yeah, it reminds me a lot of like Radiohead. You can definitely hear the influence that this band had on bands like Radiohead, Oasis, Blur, you know, the sort of 90s pop rock resurgence that Britain had. But yeah, this was their second album, British band. I'm excited to dive into this. This one's cool. This one came on clear vinyl with these banana labels to kind of go with the cover. And this is really cool. This is sort of a milestone in my collection. This is Revolver by the Beatles. This is an original 1966 U.S. mono press. I mean, we all know the Beatles, pop rock. This is when they started to kind of get into the whole psychedelic thing. But I'm going to make a slight confession that this is actually my first Beatles record. I don't have any other Beatles records besides the few singles I have from them. My lame excuse is that, you know, the Beatles are such a historical and musically important band. They're going to be at every record store you go to. So the limited amount of money I'm going to spend at a record store, do I want to spend on something I never see or don't see a lot of, or I know it's limited edition or something that I know is going to be repressed over and over because these are such important albums? That's sort of my lame half-assed excuse. But finally, Vic kind of knew this was something I was missing. So this is so cool to have, especially a mono press. From all the Beatles experts I know, mono is kind of the way you want to listen to the Beatles. So this is super cool. This just came black vinyl with the Capitol label. And then that was it, all that Vic gave me. So thank you so much, Vic. I'm so excited to listen to these. These next 3 came from my vinyl subscription box that I'm doing. I was really excited about this because I've been really into like late 60s, early 70s, like Latin Brazilian folk rock, psychedelic music. So this is I'm really going to butcher the pronunciation of these names, but A Farrowa na Boneca by Os Novos Bahianas. This originally came out in 1970, and this is a 2019 U.S. press. This is a great Latin, I'd say mostly folk, has a little rock, psychedelia kind of thrown in there. But this was their debut album, And yeah, I've never heard of this band before I got it in my box, so I'm excited to kind of dive into them. This one just came on black vinyl with a very basic black label. And then next up we got Saturday Night by Tim Darcy. This is original 2017 US press, and I would describe this as rock, indie rock. This was his debut solo album. From what I saw on Discogs, he did an album before this with another artist. But yeah, I don't know a lot about Tim Darcy. I couldn't really find a lot of him or a lot about him on the internet, but I really love this album. You can definitely hear the influences of like Radiohead, but there's also some like Velvet Ground stuff to it. It even kind of has some like Joy Division and some of the darker songs. So I'm really digging this, especially now that we're getting into like fall and winter. That's always when I really get into like 80s post-punk new wave, like Cure, The Smiths, Joy Division, Suicide. So yeah, really, really digging this. And this one just came on black vinyl with these blue label. And then this one I haven't gotten a chance to listen to yet, but this is Shame by Pedal. This is the original 2015 US press. On Discogs it says it's like rock indie, but this was the debut album from this band. I guess they're from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I guess it mainly consists of Kylie Lotz, with the rest of the band kind of just being a rotation of like musicians. So I'm excited to hear what this is all about. And this one came on a really cool, like a split, like Coke bottle and like white bone vinyl. With these like lavenderish gray label. So that was all that I got from my vinyl box this month. And then this next stuff I just sort of got from the record store that's by my work. This is a band I've been meaning to pick up for a really long time, but this is The Bends by Radiohead. I would say this is probably my personal favorite Radiohead album just because this has all of the songs I really love from them on here. Plant Telex, High and Dry, Fake Plastic Trees, Myron Lung, Black Star, Street Spirit, Fade Out. That's probably my favorite Radiohead song. This originally came out in 1995. This is a 2016 Mexican repress. Great rock, indie alternative. This was their second studio album, and it was produced by John Leckie, who also produced albums for Magazine, Stone Roses, XTC. So you can really hear a lot of that influence he had on this album. So really love it. This one just came on black vinyl. This trademark label. Focus. Not gonna focus. Cool. And then next up we have a rap hip hop classic. This is Black on Both Sides by Mos Def, who now goes by the name Yassine Bey. This originally came out in 1999. This is a 2015 US press. I mean, this is just such a iconic hip hop record. Mos Def was originally in the duo Black Star with Tully Quayle, I think is how you say his name. But Black Star is like such a infamously amazing band, hip hop duo. This was his debut solo album, and Tully Quayle is featured on here along with Q-Tip, who is in A Tribe Called Quest. Busta Rhymes, another great New York rapper. Fantastic. I love this record. It's so good. And this repress sounds really amazing. This one just came on really heavy duty, 180 gram black. These ruckus labels. And then this record I showed in my last video that I did about my 10 favorite debut albums. But this is #1 record by Big Star. Originally came out in 1972. This is the 2020 Craft Recordings US Press. I think this is one of the greatest sounding records in my collection. I mean, I don't have the most high-tech system, but you can definitely hear the difference between this and a lot of other reissues or originals I have. Not this record, but just like in general in my record collection, this is probably the best sounding record I have. This is such a influential album in like power pop, rock. You have the amazing writing duo of Alex Chilton and Chris Bell, who were very influenced by the Beatles. They saw the Beatles in Memphis in the mid 60's, and they wanted to be like John Lennon and Paul McCartney, and they definitely did that. I think they did that in their own way. That worked for them, and that worked for the sound. It's so unique, and it's such a great record. I mean, #1 record, it really is that. And this one just came on heavy duty 108 gram on this Reproduction Ardent label. And then last but not least, the record everyone in the vinyl community has been talking about. This is Carnegie Hall 1970 by Neil Young. This is the first he's doing, or the first release from the releases he's going to be doing of his bootleg series from his archives. This is original press. Obviously, this just came out earlier this month. But yeah, this is as great as everyone says it is. I mean, the recording sounds amazing considering it's a bootleg. I mean, I don't know if they did anything to it or if that's just literally how the tape sounds, but it sounds phenomenal. It sounds better than some of the professional live recordings that I have in my collection. But yeah, such an amazing show. He does a lot of his great earlier songs on here. Down by the River, Cinnamon Girl, The Loner, Southern Man, Sugar Mountain. I love when he does Sugar Mountain because he does it 3 times, because the first 2 times the audience is trying to clap, but they're clapping like off beat, so it keeps messing him up. And by the 3rd time he's about to start, he's like, okay, you guys are not allowed to clap. You're only allowed to sing, which makes this album so much fun because you really get to hear the interaction the audience has with Neil and like them riffing off of each other. It's so cool to hear. I think that's what really makes this album so great too. But yeah, so he does Sugar Mountain, Old Man, After the Gold Rush, Cowgirl in the Sand, which is my favorite Neil Young song, Ohio, Dance, Dance, Dance. I mean, if for some reason you don't have this and you're even remotely a Neil Young fan, just get it. It's so amazing, so good. Definitely my new favorite Neil Young album that I have in my collection. And this one just came on black vinyl. This is double LP, but this is just one of them with the Neil Young archive label. But yeah, that was all I got these last 2 weeks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.